Hey, comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, yes, you're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to do Comic Book Countdown, or The Countdown, episode number 102. That's right, guys. Welcome back. Hopefully, you guys have noticed now that Comic Book Corner 2.0 has got a new logo, and I think it's really awesome. And I want to thank everyone who's liked it and supports it, and it's just a little added change. And just a reminder of you guys, I am on the Comic Amino app. If you guys want to follow all my videos and all the content that I do, you can just go onto there and you can watch my Frontline videos, this channel's videos. I have polls on there, things like that. So yeah, guys, check that out. But with that being said, let's get right into the countdown this week. And we have 14 comics to talk about. And yeah, it was a heavy week. So this week, number 14 starts off with Fight Club issue number 2, or Fight Club 2 issue number 1. This is done by Dark Horse. And it was pretty interesting because I was wondering to see what these two characters were. There's all these drugs and everything else. And honestly, I wasn't like a super fan of this particular issue because it has this Sebastian character on here, and he's just some normal Joe Schmo where his life has been his life has been messed up. He's under these pills that suppresses his character. I thought that, I don't remember, I haven't seen the original Fight Club movie in a long time, and I'm just sitting there going, I'm not sure what this has to do to relate to the original movie. And then what happens is it's really about the wife and the husband's, their marriage is falling apart, and she wants to be in love with the husband that, was crazy and unpredictable, and she's been basically starting to substitute his pills to keep him under control with like sugar and things like that, and it's been crazy. I mean, the artwork is pretty cool. It's something different, and you can really go on the inside of this character Sebastian's brain. And how crazy he really is, and I guess he starts beating up his next door neighbor or whatever. There's some crazy sex going on in the issue, but it's just not. It wasn't really my style of book, and I probably will not be reading the second one because you find out that our main character has this alter ego, this different type of personality. So this is something that's a little bit out of my head and just not my style. So I'm going to give this one a 2.5 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy it. The artwork was really cool. I was expecting something a little bit different from this. So that was number 14. All right, so going forward now, we go on to number 13. And number 13 was Convergence issue number 8. Really I'm reviewing this book as kind of like a series as a whole for Convergence. The first few issues were very poor, in my opinion. They were very slow, had nothing to do with anything that I thought was going to happen. And then issues 6 and 7 were pretty good, where it gets more of the characters that you know from the DC universe involved into the actual event. In this issue, you wind up finding out that Deimos is destroyed, and this planet is going to blow up, and the universe is I guess the other Earths and whatnot are going to be destroyed as well. And what happens is, I guess Superman and Flash and Brainiac try to all work together to fix the universes from being non-existent. And just everything kind of just wrapped up kind of perfectly in this particular issue, just like the last issue did. And it was just like Superman sitting there going, well, I'll volunteer myself, and Flash goes before Infinite Crisis on Earth or whatnot, and they wind up saving the universe, and all the other Earths wind up being saved, and it was a big kumbaya type of thing. And I don't know, I thought it was okay. The Earth, the artwork is really cool in it. I just don't like how it was like this perfect little ending. It was like, oh, we don't know how to really, conclude this book, but to save the universe, but to just say Superman is kind of sacrificing himself, and then all the rest of the Earths were saved. I don't know. I didn't find it really appealing. The only thing I got out of it really was Superman sacrificing himself. I feel like this is the last time that pre-New 52 readers are going to see this version of Superman. So for me, it was like a farewell to this character. And but overall, as the series concluded, I thought it was very poor. In my opinion, I thought for new readers that are new to the DC universe, you're not going to get very much that was, mentioned when it came to the tie-in books, because you have nothing to relate there. And then when it comes to this series, it was very boring up into issue 6 and issue 7, and then it all just kind of wrapped itself up. And what was the point of Telos in this series, where they made him to be this super bad guy, and he winds up kind of not being the bad guy? It was Deimos the whole time, and I feel like Telos is going to be like that forgotten character. So again, after reading this, I gave this a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Again, just not my typical type of event that went on. If you're a nostalgic DC fan, historian, you're going to appreciate what was here, and same with the tie-ins. But for me as the event, since I started reading DC with the New 52, it was just poor. All right, next we go on to number 12. And number 12 was Secret Wars MODOK Assassin, issue number 1. This was kind of a weird cover here. This book was okay, but it wasn't, again, like my style of art. It was interesting to see MODOK, and it's pretty much what goes on in this particular series, is that MODOK is this crazy assassin, and he just basically kills everybody in his way. He's killed everybody in his type of domain. His Baron kind of doesn't want to mess with him in here because he is smart and he is powerful, but at the same time he is causing problems. But in a way, MODOK has the leverage over him, and we get to see this type of I guess area based off of the battle map called Killville. And in the way it's just set up as MODOK as being the assassin, and he's killed everybody. He tried to steal the Sentinel technology and whatnot, and it was an okay book. It was nothing, blown out of the water. It was good enough to warrant a second issue to see what the story is going to be about. The only thing that got me really to get that second issue was at the end, is you find a female Thor at the end of the issue, and he finds her appealing. So what is he going to do with her? So great artwork. I mean, good artwork in this part of the book. Towards the end and throughout the book. The cover wasn't my favorite artwork, but it was an okay book. I'm going to try it, and I think given this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was good. It was entertaining at times. So 3.5 or 3/4 out of 5 stars for me. All right, 14, 13, 12. And going on to number 11. Number 11 was Grim Tales of Terror, issue number 11. This was an interesting book. Grim Tales of Terror is always that type of series that really gives you these one-shot types of tales. And in this one, we had to do with death that goes after this lady who is trying to purchasing a shovel in this gardening department. And it's obviously that the way she's acting in the book is that she's going to bury this body. And Death obviously knows that. And Death always poses as a person in this particular setting. So before she dies, she actually gives her the story of the parallel story or whatever of what was going on that had to do with the whole digging up and shoveling and gardening and whatnot. And there was a story about these 2 kids who want to go visit their professor who studies plants and whatnot. And you get to see that they come to this house, and they had a family member that passed away, visits the professor. The professor's kind of standoffish, tells the kids, hey, listen, you got to go away. I don't want you here. And we find out there was another daughter by the name of Jane. And she's very isolated, kind of got these fears and whatnot. And whenever somebody comes up to her and touches her, they change into some weird flower creature. And the weird thing is this student had to use the bathroom, wandered around, found her. He dumbfounded by her beauty, but she feels that, she was sick, and he's just trying to support her by going, hey, it's okay, just give me a hug. It's fine. I'm here for you. help you through this. And right away, when you touch the female here, what happens is you become this crazy ass, like, weird plant creature that goes with the garden and whatnot. And then what happens is it sprouts out another sister. And it was just like, and it was insane because what happens in the issue is the other kid, the friend, was like, oh my God. He's like, Dr. So-and-so, he's like, you're crazy. He's like, why did you do this? And the doctor just sits there and goes, I wanted my daughter to stay alive. He's like, is that something so wrong? There may be side effects, but I warned you not to come in. And the sister touches the other kid, and he becomes part of the garden. And then you get another female that arises. So there's a whole bunch of sisters in there. So that's why there's so many plants in the front yard, because they're all people that have visited and made contact with these girls. Really weird stuff. And by the time you're done with the story, you wind up seeing how the other woman dies in here that wanted to bury a dead body. So Tales of Terror is a good book. It has interesting stories in there. You know, you don't have to buy it each and every month. I found it a good story, and they're always entertaining reads with great artwork. So I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Good stuff there, guys. All right. So now we go on to number 10. Yes, number 10, the top 10. Number 10 goes to Battle World, issue number 1. Or, I'm sorry, Inhumans Attilian Rising, the Secret Wars tie-in. This book was pretty cool. One thing that it had, Charles Soule is the writer on here, good writer. The artwork was really well done as well by John Timms. And I love this opening page in here. It's like this Ghost Rider type of guy. And they go to the Greenlands, and they wind up trying to stop the Hulks that are in the Greenlands. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to cure them, which I thought was an interesting story to try to get an upper hand upon Doom. And these guys, Ghost Rider and a couple of these other characters, like this female right here, they're part of a rebel group. And here's cool artwork here where you get to see Ghost Rider. He reminded me of a mix of like Constantine and Ghost Rider, and he had this cool car, this roadster type of car. And what happens is he wind up getting captured by Thors and brings him into New Attilian. And what happens is Medusa is the Baroness that runs this particular part of Battle World of New Attilian. And she tries to question the Ghost Rider character and tries to get information on what's going on with the rebels and whatnot. Winds up killing the guy throughout the issue, and I was just like, wow, that was insane. They were torturing him, they wound up killing him, and by the time you wind up getting to the end of this issue, you wind up seeing Black Bolt in this book. So really cool. I like the book. It didn't capture me as much as some of the other books. It was hard to remember this story as I was running through this one again, but it was quite interesting. I am going to pick up issue number 2 and see where that goes. And I gave this one a 3 3/4 out of 5 stars. All right. So now we go on to number 9. And number 9 goes to Chew, issue number 49. I like Chew this week, or this month. It's got Tony Chew's brother in there. His name is Chu Chow. And he's a famous chef, and he's cooking Agent Pollo in here, trying to bring it to where Tony Chu can bring this Pollo to him so he can find out what's going on with this collector character. And so in this issue, it always brings you crazy humor. We have Agent Colby, who goes after Agent Pollo, which he wound up killing because he was just trying to help out Agent Chu. And this book always has these crazy Easter eggs and whatnot, and it says all kinds of things in the garbage dump. And then it has someone's comic books in here, like a long box of comics, and it says Superheroes with Mullets, 1990s. I thought that was really funny in here. But in this issue, you wind up seeing the collector, which is a collector of all these crazy powers and whatnot, and they make it their new secret headquarters in here. And throughout this issue, you wind up getting to see team-ups happen. We wind up seeing that Agent Chu winds up getting he winds up reconnecting with his daughter. And then what's going to happen is they're going to eventually team up and start this stop this collector character before he winds up taking over all the world because he has all these powers that he's been consuming. Again, it's a series that you really have to read to understand. I thought which was really cool, if you've been collecting Chew throughout the years, you have Agent 37, or issue number 37, and then 37B, and then 39 and 49's covers. They wind up all connecting and wind up making this cool little 4-part spread cover here. So I didn't even realize that was going on. So I think I have all those issues, and I think that's a cool conclusion here to this book. I like it. I like Chew. I like it for what it is. May not be everyone's taste, no pun intended. You definitely have to read it from the beginning to get what's going on in this story. So after this one, I gave this one a 3.75 out of 5 stars. All right. Next, we go on, and we go on to, I think it's number 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. Number 8 goes to Nova issue number 31. So 31 issues later, this book finally, I guess, concludes its true story arc. Nova actually finds his pop and he brings him home. I couldn't believe it. So now what happens with Nova? You get to see him team up here with Beta Ray Bill. He has to stop all these asteroids that are going to hit his Earth. This was kind of cool artwork here. Beta Ray's a little cartoony. You know, his body, his upper body's really unproportionate, but it was okay. It was cool to see. Like the facial expressions that happen in here in this Nova book, and we get to see him save the day. We get to see the Guardians of the Galaxy show up in here. Not too sure where this continuity really fits in, because when you look at the issue, all you see is Captain Marvel, and you see Iron Man in here. So it looks like that this story takes place a little bit before, quite a bit time before this whole Secret Wars thing. So I was quite interested in seeing all that. So time is further away here. We wind up get to see a Warbringer wind up doing battle against Nova throughout this issue. And, of course, who prevails in this particular issue? It is Nova. Nova does. He torches him through the sun, and he winds up winning the battle. Nova gets reunited with his father, and I thought the coolest thing about this issue is when they go back to Earth, and what happens is Nova winds up going with his dad, and him and his mother reunite for the first time in a long time. So really great moments in this book, and I really could appreciate the family moments there. And the funny thing is at the end of the issue, his father sits there and he goes, "You didn't even scratch my helmet." And Sam's sitting there going, "Your helmet?" So when they're sitting down eating dinner together, you wind up seeing that they're going to have to argue over whose helmet that it is. And then at the end of it, you wind up getting this cool little light years away where Warbringer, you actually see him, he survived here. So that's not going to be the last time that you see of him. Like the character moments in this book, the artwork is pretty solid. Wasn't expecting that continuity difference there of how far back this actual book takes place, especially when we already had Access happen and whatnot. So a little bit of continuity issues there. So, but it's a good story overall, and I gave it 3.75 out of 5, 3 3/4 stars. It'll be interesting to see now where Nova goes after Secret Wars, and what they're going to introduce the reader, you know, a new story, because this whole story has been all about his father. All right, so next we go forward and we go on to number 7. Number 7 goes to Battle World Secret Wars Journal, issue number 1. This book was pretty cool. It has 2 separate stories in here. One has to do with Kate Bishop. Another one has to do with kind of Moon Knight and some man-wolves in here. The Kate Bishop story was much better, and it looks like Battle World Journal is a type of book that will have a couple of different stories in it each time. The first one has to do with Katie Bishop in here, and it's pretty cool because she goes off. It kind of reminds me of like the sheriff of Nottingham, like a Robin Hood type of thing, and she's trying to evade the Punishers, and she's trying to steal this this orb from Doctor Doom's cathedral, and she creates this diversion. And there's some really cool art scenes, really cool fight scenes that Katie Bishop does in here to try to steal this orb and whatnot. But everyone's kind of on to her, and she tries to escape. Good paneling, again, good artwork, like I said. And by the time you get to the end of this issue, you wind up seeing that she gets captured, and you'll get to see more of Katie Bishop in Siege issue #1 on what happens with that story. So really, really interesting stuff. And then again, the second story had to take place in Egyptia, and it has some of the X-Men that we've known through over the years, like Nightcrawler and Wolverine and Shadowcat and some others. And they go and they say they're not going to be these slaves anymore that built these pyramids. And I'm trying to think of the lady's name in here. It's Khonshu or something weird like that. Khonshu. I don't know. I can't even find it. But the artwork in this one was really dark. Again, you find out that Moon Knight in this particular issue is a man-wolf, and you're just like, oh damn. So the X-Men wind up being in danger in here, and they wind up all changing and worshiping this particular Khonshu as well. And Khonshu looks like this. So I don't have too much like history with Moon Knight. Never been a huge fan of it, so I wasn't too into this story, but I did find it interesting because by the time we get to the end of it, again, they're all man-wolves themselves. So I like the Katie Bishop story better. I thought this was a good read though, and I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars. Alright, so going forward now, we go on to numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6. And number 6 this week goes to, the comics can stay here without falling, Where the Monsters Dwell, issue #1. This was a book that really surprised me because it doesn't have to do with any of the things that we have read in the past. It's a completely new story. We wind up finding out about these two characters by the name of, trying to remember their names, Carl and Clemmy. Carl is the male, Clemmy is the female. Carl winds up picking her up and taking her on a plane ride to a certain destination. Carl is a type of character that's this slacker pilot that, you know, he's this two-timer trying to get this. He's a scoundrel like Han Solo, tries to get money and takes, you know, people for granted at times. And he wound up getting this princess, wound up getting her pregnant, and he winds up escaping the tribe. He's trying to, you know, swindle money from his repairman to get, you know, to not pay for repairs. So you get to see what type of character he is in this issue. So there's a lot of good, character development in here. And then you get to meet the female lead, which is her name again is Clemmy. She asks Carl to go on a specific ride. He tries to, you know, wine and dine her, says, oh, we can spend a night and have some romance at one place. And what you find out later on about this female is she's really not who she is, you know. She's a lot more aware of her surroundings. She's smarter than the pilot. She knows how to fly the plane. It looks like they're flying through the Savage Land skies, and they're going against these crazy dinosaurs. The plane winds up crash landing, and by the time we wind up getting to the end of this issue, you wind up seeing that he's leaning against this big-ass dinosaur, this like T-Rex, and he doesn't even know it. And now somehow they have to escape this land and go to this other land in the next issue. And it is funny because the female in here is so much smarter than he is. So it's kind of like these opposites attract type of thing. They play off of each other. And that's what I liked about this issue. And it was a nice surprising read. And Garth Ennis is the one who writes this book. He did a great job of it. So I like the artwork in it too. Great artwork. Fits the time period of where this is kind of taking place. So I definitely suggest this one to you guys. I gave this one a 4 out of 5 as well. All right. So now we go on to the top 5, and now we are in number. Oh, it's kind of mixed the comics up a little bit. All right, here we go. Number 5. That's right. Number 5 goes to Inferno issue number 1. This book was pretty interesting because we get to see that Colossus in this world winds up wanting to rescue his sister Ileana, and she's kept in this demon world, and it's happened like 4 years ago, and each year there's a window in Manhattan that opens up that they can go and they try to rescue her. And each year they've been trying to improve and get further and further. And these demons are very resilient. It's hard to get by them. And in the most current year, they got really, really close. And then what happens is one year they wind up going Cyclops, Jean Grey, which is cool. They're wearing their original X Factor gear, which I thought was really neat to bring that back. Wind up going. They get really close. They see Ileana on this throne, but it was an illusion of her as this evil creature. And what happens is you wind up seeing this demon winds up paralyzing Scott. So he has no movement in his back or his legs, kind of like Professor X. And then what happens is Jean winds up becoming, I guess, the Phoenix Force, or I don't know what happened. She kind of got flamed out, and they kind of failed because they wound up going against this creature in the end, which was Jean Grey's. Oh, I'm sorry, it was Darkchild, which was the demon form, a ruler of Inferno. So that's who it was. It was Darkchild who they wound up going against. Forgot about that. And what happens is when it came to a year later, Colossus wanted to go out there again. He's missing his arm. There's a lot less mutants out into the world. And Cyclops is the actual ruler of these X-Men now. And Cyclops is funny because, again, he's like Charles Xavier. He has like the hover car, and he's telling Cyclops, no, hell no, you're not going out this time. He's like, that's it. It's been too long. We've tried many years. It's not going to happen. And Cyclops was pissed off about, Cyclops was pissed off at Colossus, and Colossus is pissed off at Cyclops, and Cyclops is an asshole. And the rest of the team was backing up Colossus on this. They were like, well, we've been planning this whole time. Why are you going to back out now the day of? So everyone backed up on Colossus, and it looks like now that they were going out, they're doing battle again, once again against the demons. And what happens is you wind up seeing Boom Boom. She winds up getting sacrificed in the issue. She winds up like getting eaten by some weird demon-like ass creatures. They're getting overrun by demons throughout here. And by the time you wind up getting to the very end of this issue, you wind up seeing again Jean Grey's clone sister, Madeline Pride, and you see Madeline Pride, and you see Jean Grey, clone, and Goblin Queen. So those are the three that you see in here. And then you see Alex Summers, former X-Men, current Goblin Prince, and Queen's concubine, if that's how you say it. So yeah, they're up Schitt's Creek here. So a lot of stuff going on in here. If you weren't familiar with like Inferno, and then I guess in this time. But it was a good read. I found it very entertaining. Again, this one was a little bit better than I thought it was going to be. So again, I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars as well. Some of you fans just might not be familiar with these particular characters, and you might find yourself a little bit lost. But I thought this story was pretty good. All right. So going forward now, we go on to number 4. Number 4 for me was Old Man Logan, issue number 1. I thought this story was really good. The only thing that deterred me from this book was the artwork. Because I feel that with certain artwork based off of characters' facial expressions, I feel that you can connect to a character better. And in here, with Andrea Sorrentino's artwork, which is really good, I'm not going to say it's bad, especially when it comes to action sequences like this, and when it comes to paneling like this, I think it's really good. But when it comes to those key character moments, when you're trying to you know, hear conversations and everyone's faces is dark, and you can't really get a good look at Logan the way maybe he should, or when he talks to Emma Frost at the end of this issue, I feel like it just doesn't feel like it's her and him talking, you know? So the writer, I feel like, has to do a lot. I feel has to just really write a good story to make you feel connected with them, written wise than visual wise. So what this story was about was we get to see Logan. He winds up, and it's continuing off of the Old Man Logan series from the first series, and I never read that one, and I never said that when I did my original review. And he's going, and he's trying to stop the Gladiator, going against all this type of corruption that's going on, and trafficking and whatnot. And he winds up beating up a whole bunch of gang called Daredevils, and they're all wearing Daredevil costumes and whatnot. You wind up seeing Gladiator's son pissed off at Logan, saying that he wants to kill Logan. And Logan's like, dude, when you get older, you can try, but right now I'm just walking away. And you find out, seeing that Logan finds a Ultron helmet or head, and he wants to find out really where it's coming from. And he goes and he pays a visit to Emma Frost at the end, and she tried to defend this land. And what happened is she wound up getting killed by a whole bunch of gang of Punishers in here. And so I guess, and it was cool because the whole time Emma Frost wound up putting visions in Logan's brain of what he was seeing until basically she passed away, and that's what she looked like. So really interesting stuff in this book, and it will be interesting to see where Logan goes, because at the end you see him climbing up the wall trying to find out where this Ultron helmet goes. Again, I thought this was a fantastic read story-wise, but the artwork for me just really took me away from the book, and I couldn't connect to the way I wanted it to. So that's why I gave this one a 4 out of 5 stars this week. I really can't wait to read more of the story and seeing where it goes. And it was a very quick read, and I can understand that because that's Logan's character. You know, he's a man with few words, so it fits the character that way. But I thought there could have been maybe a little bit more story here too. All right. So now we go on to the top 3, and number 3 goes on to the Infinity Gauntlet, issue number 1. I like this book because, again, this one focused on a whole bunch of new characters in here, which looks like it's going to be some Novas. They're going to be the future Novas, and it was a family of them that was in this apocalyptic world. I'm trying to think. I think was it in Manhattan? I'm not sure exactly where it was. I forgot where it took place. But the world, this sector was just destroyed. And it was destroyed by these crazy bug-like creatures. And this family is just forced to survive based off of scraps. They can't even make a freaking fire without these bugs going to attack them. And there was some great issues, some good character development here where you get to see the introduction to our female lead. You find out that her mother was a Nova. The Nova wound up leaving the family. And as this issue progresses, you wind up seeing all these crazy-ass bug creatures attacking them. And it's just like, holy shit. And it was just like this movie setting, something that reminded me of Starship Troopers. And you see the grandfather and the daughter, and they're trying to escape. And the dog was escaping. The grandpa was escaping. And I think the female's lead, his name is Kerwin or something like that, something weird like that. I can't remember her exact name. But when she goes and she destroys one of the baby insects, she winds up opening, and she finds a mind gem in there. And she winds up pocketing it. And as soon as she finds it, we wind up seeing that a Nova appears to save the day. And you wind up finding out that it was her mother. And you're just like, oh, dude, that's a crazy family reunion type of thing. And then Thanos is on to what's going on because, of course, he has a gem on his own. And it looks like he is going to be after the gem. And it looks like Thanos and maybe Nova is going to do battle over this gem. Will Sam Alexander make an appearance in this or some kind of Nova? Not sure, but it looks like maybe this family will become a group of Novas, and we're going to see where this one goes. Again, I like the character development in this book. I thought it was a well-written book, and I like the artwork. I wasn't expecting bugs in it, but it was okay. So after reading this one, I gave this one a 4.25 out of 5 stars. All right, next we go forward and we go on to number 2, and number 2 was Secret Wars 2099. This was my favorite Secret Wars book of the week. I love Peter David's writing. I like his vision for the 2099 characters. And this is the first time you see all these characters as Avengers in here. And we wind up seeing there's the female Captain America, which her name is Roberta. You wind up seeing this Iron Man, seeing this Hawkeye. And throughout this issue, we wind up seeing this version of what's her name, Black Widow in here as well. So it's interesting because as the book progresses, you get to see that character development happen. You see all the Avengers together. They had to go out on this mission. The mission wasn't really important. It was just for you to get to know them, their powers, what they're about, who's in charge, and things like that. You wind up finding out that Hercules has like some kind of family issues that goes on in the series as well. You wind up finding, seeing Iron Man's powers, and you get to see how they work together as a team. Captain America, the female, she's like very strict, always on the ball. She doesn't take any shit from anybody. It's funny how Hawkeye is, because he's kind of like Sam Wilson and Hawkeye at the same time. But also the Captain America, the female version, she has these holographic wings. So that's like Sam Wilson too. So that was pretty neat to see. And you get to see also when they're done with their mission, you wind up seeing that it's funny because it stands for A for Acclimax, but you would think it's also Avengers. And they report to Miguel, and Miguel is the leader of this group of Avengers 2099 in here. And then again, you get to see more of that character development, where you get to see Captain America, when she takes off her helmet, she winds up transitioning from Captain America to a normal person. You see her eyes are like blue, and then she changes and she goes back to, just a regular human, and she goes and she talks with her family, and her family thinks that she's like the secretary that works at Acclimax, which I thought was really awesome. So you get to see that character development, the true side of her. And again, you see that stuff with Hercules in here as well. And then we get to see this version of Iron Man, and his name is Sonny Frisco. Like, what kind of name is Sonny Frisco? And then you see this version of Vision, where she lies in this pool of water, or and he sees these visions, I guess, and it's weird. But I liked it because it gave you a little insight of all the characters, and it really has the reader intrigued. And then in the next issue, you wind up seeing that it's going to be about the Defenders of 2099. So that's really awesome too. So I like that stuff there. So this one was a good read. I really enjoyed it. Favorite Secret Wars book of the week. And I gave that one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. All right, final book of the week. Number 1 goes to Invincible, issue number 120. I gave this one a 4.75 out of 5 stars. There hasn't been much action that happens in Invincible, so that's why I took off the 1/4 star. But this book really hits home for me, guys. I'm a dad of 2 kids, and it's great to see family elements that happen in this particular issue. And the book is really misleading because you think, oh, it's going to be this bloody-ass battle royale between Battle Beast and General Thrag, and that doesn't really happen. You wind up finding out that Battle Beast gets killed by General Thrag, and he's ripping out his intestines and his heart, and then he's like, that's done. And that's the extent of the bloodiness of the actual book, because General Thrag winds up passing out, and his people come and rescuing him. And it looks like this cloning process is going to continue so it could repopulate his species of people, which is called the Vultramites. And throughout this issue, you wind up seeing Mark and his brother. They wind up doing this mission to try to find out what's happened with Thrag. They find out that he wins and that he's retreated. He's trying to recover. There's some great Star Trek elements in this book. If you're a Star Trek fan, it reminded me a lot of that. I thought that was hysterical in the book. And then it comes to the family moments, what made this book separate the rest for me, because again, I can relate. Uh, Dad wakes up in the middle of the night with his, with his few-month-old daughter, and he's got to be dad. And you get to see all the paneling through here, which I thought was really nice. You get to see him change the baby. The baby's playing with the toys. You wind up seeing him feed the baby. He burps the baby. The baby throws up on him. He's got to clean himself. He's reading the story. He falls asleep. And it's just like, that's all the stuff I did with my son and my daughter, both when they were like really young. My daughter's 3 and my son is 8. And he's talking to his daughter, and it's funny how she just falls over because she can't sit too well yet. And I thought there were some good moments there, and they called it daddy-daughter time, and it was really good to see that connection. And Mark is really, he wants to be dad. He's willing to do whatever it takes to be a good father. He doesn't want to abandon his children. And by the time I'm getting to the very end of this issue, we he wound up wearing this. Sorry for the delay in the video. My video got caught there in the end, but he wound up having this trophy here on his neck as a cloak or a cape, and that was Battle Beast. They like skinned him alive, and now he wears it, and it was just like, wow, that is intense right there. So this was a really good book. Again, it has all those family elements in there that I really enjoyed, and just a good overall story. I think Robert Kirkman does a wonderful job writing this book. Always great cliffhangers, just like The Walking Dead, and the artwork is consistent throughout. Ryan Ottley is amazing with his artwork, and that's why this gets #1 for this week. So guys, there you have it. You've seen the worst, you've seen the best, and you saw all the other stuff in between. So guys, in the comments below, tell me what your favorite book of the week was, what your worst comic book of the week was. And fans, until the next comic book countdown, this is Mike Spiderslayer signing off. And fans, thanks for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. Take care, fans. See you real soon. Bye.